Hey, Christoph. It is 11:30. It's 11:30?
We got shit to do.
Okay, it's 11:30 here. I gotta finish this video. I realized this as I came over to Thomas's house that I have to do this video, so I'm doing this now. So I wrote notes on Thomas's phone. He let me use his phone. Because first, not sure how I feel about the whole taking responsibility for your actions being what it takes to be an adult. And we'll get to that later when we answer your question. And dude, you for sure have to meet my boss sometime. He's really, really cool.
He's really cool.
He'll be coming up to Boulder at some point.
He's a nice fella.
So hang out. And you're very right. You shouldn't get me started on education, but you did. Again. So, you're right that GPA should reflect competence. I'm only arguing that GPA shouldn't be a target because it's unreliable in the shorter term for sure. Like, what you're saying makes sense as an average as it goes on, that it gets a little bit more accurate, but it is still kind of, that average is still tainted by the flaws of each individual GPA measurement each semester. I'm all for completing assignments earlier, and I don't mean to say I'm not. Like, finish assignments and plan for that and go through with that. But the grading of a lot of assignments ends up being subjective. And so really, in my mind, it's valuing finishing the work and finishing it to the best of your ability, but not letting the GPA or the grades that come back from that define you. So even if you know you put in all your best work and the grade comes back an F, that does not lower your value. You tried your best. And depending on the class situation, depending on the teacher situation, either that means you need to study a different way or maybe get a better teacher. So it's either studying better or getting a better teacher. A sentence that you said that worries me is where you said your worth, and then you said that that's what a company sees when they see your GPA. They do not see your worth. You said, currently GPA is an important metric for some companies, but it has nothing to do with your worth. And you said you don't think it's a coincidence that people use it. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's a habit. It's a standardization technique born from when schools are ruled by faculty and teachers, where they were the final say, where it was the perspective that the teachers were kind of flawless, and where you could
Which hasn't changed.
Which hasn't changed. That part of college at least hasn't changed. But we've gotten a lot more realistic in how we perceive these teachers and things, and so it becomes more of we understand that teachers are flawed. That's an inherent argument that we talked about earlier. Teachers are flawed, and thus GPA will always be flawed. And because it runs through the subjective filter of a teacher, it cannot be tied to your self-worth, or else that's, in my mind, that's a very dangerous way to do it. Your last question, what makes an adult? And that's a big oof, because it's a lot. And I just kind of spitballed here. So taking responsibility is a part of it, but in general, I think another segment of being an adult is just certain experience. Like, if you have had enough. So your example of the 10-year-old can be an adult. If a 10-year-old has seen some shit, I think they're a lot more likely to act like an adult. But there's some people who go all the way through their lives to 30, and they're able to take responsibility for their own actions, but they're inexperienced. And so then when they get in a situation that throws them out of their normal loop, they don't know how to act, and that can break down. And so I think it's less about, it's not just taking responsibility for your own actions, it's a certain level of experience and common sense, I think, that you gain from some of that experience. It's more like there's no definite point of, congratulations, you're an adult. It's like, hey, you have 50 points in the adult meter. And then the biggest part for me, like having a kid, that's a lot of experience really fast. That is taking care of someone, that is having to support yourself and someone else, if you're doing it right too, because there are a lot of parents that just do it bad. So I guess that's a part of it too. But a kid fills up that adult bar pretty quick. Thomas and I are going to go find a road, and it's 11 and Thomas wants to go outside. So
I've been in Cecil for 12 hours today.
we're going to go find a place outside. I'm still at the end of being sick and my stomach feels weird. So we're going to do that and then go to maybe get some hot cocoa. And
I'm
go to
going to
bed.
make him pancakes.
Tonight?
Maybe not tonight.
No, we'll figure that out tomorrow. Okay, bye, Crystal and Shreya. Bye.
Bye.